Yes, sir.
So now in this lecture we will find out how this matching algorithm called as RETI or RETINET works. This algorithm works on rule-based system where you are performing matching process. Where matching is required? Matching is required when there are multiple rules in a given situation which are applicable. So selection of appropriate rule requires matching. So you can define this matching process as it's a process of comparing two or more structures. And why we compare those structures? For discovering their likeness or differences. That means whether they are same. If they are same, how much they are same. So for that purpose, we perform this matching process. Now, what are the structures? We perform matching. Matching of what? We have production rules, all rules which are defined in the form of, okay. For example, P and Q or R, then some S. So matching process will try to match the current state of the system with left hand side of this rule. This we call this as antecedent. Then there are two possibilities, either match will found or no match is not found for this particular rule. There is third possibility also, that match is not complete. That means there is no 100% match, but the current situation partially matches with left hand side of this rule. So the way we specify the current situation, that is the structure. You can say that this is a structure and we match this structure with the current structure. So basically in this matching process you will have to perform matching of structures. Now this is a very important area nowadays. You will find out in searching process. In searching also, every now and then in intelligent systems you will have to perform this matching. And these structures, that means the structure in which your current situation is represented, knowledge is represented, that depends upon the domain. Sometimes you may find out that the pattern may be something like this. For example, A, comma B, or suppose I ignore this comma, A, B, C, D, the list representation will use E, F. Suppose your list is like this, we will not define comma there. And suppose second structure is, this is one pattern, and another pattern is, pattern P2 is A, B we will keep as it is, then suppose I write variable X, E, and then again variable X. Now suppose we try to match pattern 1 and pattern 2. Are they matching with each other? Do they match with each other? Yes. Harshal,
Yes, sir.
pattern 1 and pattern 2 are given. Pattern 1 is a list. This is a list. In list language, we define list in this way. So objects, various objects like A, B, then CD, list containing CD, another list, E and F. Second pattern is AB, then variable X. Variable we are writing by attaching question mark with that, because binding has to be specified with that variable. So X variable, then variable E and another variable X. So do they match with each other? They are same or different?
Different, sir.
Why they are different?
Value of X are not known.
But X can take different values. No? If X suppose takes that value, required value. Your answer is correct, but the reasoning is something like this. Suppose this X is binding of X. Okay, this X is variable X is bound to CD, object CD, list containing CD. Then what will happen? This pattern P2 will become like this: A, B, C, D, E, and
F.
C, T, like, right? Because
Yes, sir.
X is bound to CD. If this is the case, then this will be replaced by CD and this will be replaced by list containing CD. Now compare this P1 with P2 dash. Both are different. Okay. So therefore, both patterns, they do not match. Okay, correct. But these patterns which are used in matching, they take different form. This is one of the form. What is this form? These structures can be represented in real problems in different ways. First is list. Just now we have seen this example. Second is your pattern can be, uh, for example, simple string of characters. Take very simple example, string of characters. For example, suppose pattern P1 is string of characters A, A, B, C, 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 D, E, and pattern P2 is A, A, B, C, C, D, E. Now pattern P1 and P2 are represented as strings. Are they matching with each other? Are they same?
No,
Both
sir.
the strings P1 and P2,
No, sir.
they are not same, correct? Because here up to B they are same, but here C is repeated thrice. Okay, so therefore they are not same. Here C is repeated only twice. This pattern can take form of vectors also. This can be vectors. For example, vector X is list of x1, x2, x3 up to xn, where xi will represent the attribute value, right? Where here xi can represent the attribute value of vector x. So this can lead to a matrix representation. So what will be this matrix representation? It will be a collection of vectors. If I have multiple vectors, then that will be a matrix. So in general, basically this can go into the form graph or trees or sets. So this can be, this matrix representation is representation for graphs, trees or sets. So in real problems you will find out your structure or left hand side antecedent of a rule can take any of this form, and then your job is to match this with another similar type of structure and find out whether they are matching or not. So that algorithm is called as matching algorithm. Now these problems are the problems which right now today we are implementing in search processes or in many AI problems, AI applications. You will find out such a techniques are required. For example, you may have to match string of characters. That's what Google search does, right? In Google search you specify character string, and result of that search is the related web pages. So very good algorithms are used for this purpose by Google to give you the exact web pages which are related with your search string. Similarly, in some situations, AI problems, you may have to match vectors, matrix. When you are going to match two matrix, when you will have to match two graphs or trees, they are same or not. When you have to find out whether the two graphs or two trees, they are same or not. If they are similar, then how much similar they are. So certain measures we use for this purpose. Okay, so you are interested in finding out, writing a program or algorithm for comparing two vectors or comparing two matrices. Write a program for comparing two graphs. Many real life problems, they are represented in the form of graphs or trees. So think of writing a program which will compare two graphs, which will compare two trees. And a very good program will be you don't need only exact match or not. If there is no exact match, how much similar the two given graphs are, right? So similarity measures you will have to use for this purpose. What are different similarity measures? Variables directly you can match, and string matching algorithms we have. So different matrix, distance matrix you can use for that purpose. This is not actually uh, directly in our course. In advanced course of AI, you are interested in developing algorithms or implementing algorithms for these purposes. But since you don't have that course, uh, it's our duty to connect it with real life applications. So distance matrices are used for matching uh, two matrix. Then you can use probability measures like product moment correlation, for example R. Okay, I will put it on the slide. Similarity measures. One is you can use distance matrices. So right now in advanced course of AI, actually these things are or matrices. These things are implemented. So for this purpose, for example, one of the technique, Minkowski metric can be used for general distance measure. Those who are interested, actually it's not a part of our syllabus, but actually these things are used nowadays. They can refer this in bracket I write Minkowski matrices or metric. This can be used if you have to compare two matrix. There is a formula for that, like that D is equal to summation of xi minus yi absolute value raised to p and bracket raised to 1 by p. Okay, so this is actually Euclidean distance, and when this p is equal to 1, that probability is equal to 1, value p is equal to 1, then actually it's a city block distance. City block distance already we have seen. Okay, leave it. But you remember this because many of you may have to work in the application area where you will have to use these techniques. Then sometimes you use probability measures, very simple probability measure that you may have to use, like R, that is moment correlation, right? Or qualitative measures. Qualitative measures can be used. For that purpose, you can have contingency variable. You can prepare a table, contingency table. So that technique can be used. Then you can use similarity measure like cosine similarity. This is used to find out whether how much two vectors are similar. So input to this algorithm will be two vectors, and algorithm will tell you how much similar they are. Then fuzzy measures are also there. Sometimes you will find out this is useful. So basically in fuzzy measures, you are interested in defining distance between two fuzzy sets. Fuzzy set we define in this way: A tilde, B tilde. Suppose these are two fuzzy sets. So how much similar they are? So you find out this distance between this fuzzy set A and fuzzy set B. So very good technique we have for this purpose that can be used. I am not going into the detail, but you should know all this, although they are not in the syllabus, because our course is an introductory course, and right now you will find out people they are using all these techniques. Almost in all problem domains you will have to use these techniques. Okay. Then you will have to match patterns. Then you may have to use matching graph algorithms. Isomorphism we have seen. So think of implementing that. You will have to find out whether two graphs are isomorphic or not. Isomorphic means same, na? So matching graphs. Okay, then you will be interested in matching sets or backs. Two sets. Write a program. For example, write a program for matching two sets or backs like this. Already we have seen one of the algorithm for matching literals. In unification in mathematical foundation 1, one of the algorithm we have discussed called as unify algorithm. Okay, so that is used for matching literals. Similarly, partial matching algorithms also you can have. This list is incomplete. Lot of work is going on in this. You may be interested in how different two patterns are. Okay, so that kind of algorithms, also fuzzy matching algorithms, fuzzy similarity between the two objects. All these techniques they are very useful nowadays in most of the real life applications. Okay, so today we are interested in one of the algorithm called as Ritty matching algorithm. So basically you can visualize this matching process. In general consist of what will be the input to the matching process. Typical matching process, that one of the input will be the object that you will have to match. Object that you will have to match. So object to match I will write down. And another input will be objects or classes. So this will be known to you. Here we will have set of objects and classes towards. So these are represented in some computer representable form. So representation we will call it. And then you are going to represent in memory objects and classes in computer representable form, their representation. Okay, then you are going to compare this. So there will be algorithm. Now this algorithm will come in picture that I told you. So I will call it comparator. So this comparator will tell you whether there is a match. So output will be a match or some result or uh, metric. Okay, so this is in general the matching process will be. So you have a knowledge of set of objects. The object to be matched will be the input. You are going to convert it into the computer representable form. So here all these patterns, previously known patterns, are stored. Here there is an object in question converted into the representable form. So comparator will compare that and that will return the result. Okay, so this is a typical matching process. Now, one of the matching algorithm which is used in production system, which we have discussed in the last lecture, rule based systems, that is a RETI matching algorithm. Okay, so this rule based systems, we know that this rule based system consists of knowledge base. That knowledge base will contain the structures. Those structures will represent the domain knowledge, how that domain knowledge has been collected from experts. So that is in the form of rules. Rules are in the form of productions. Then working memory holds the parameters for the current situation, current problem. There is an inference engine in rule based system along with rule interpreter that will determine which rules are applicable. So we have set of rules. So inference engine that will tell you all the applicable rules. Okay, so for this purpose you will have to perform matching process. So you will find out for any production system or rule based system, the inference cycle consists of 3 tasks. One is match, second one is select, and third one is execute. Match, select and execute. This is what? This is inference cycle. So inference cycle performs these 3 tasks repeatedly: matching, selecting, executing. Now what is match operation? During match operation, the condition which is on the left hand side of the rule, they are matched with the current state of the system. Okay. In select, there is a conflict set. Just now we have seen, that means all applicable rules. So one of the rule is selected. So in match, that match may result in multiple rules which are applicable rules. So this match will result in set of applicable rules. So that will give you set of applicable rules. This select will select one of the rule from this set of applicable rules. And what execute will do? Execute the rule selected in step number 2, that is from conflict set. This set is called as conflict set, set of applicable rule. That set is your conflict set. So what execute will do? The selected rule from the conflict set is executed and action is performed. So action specified on the right hand side is performed. Okay. So that will give you the result of execution of the rule. So that will involve some IO operations, adding and removing, changing the clauses in your working memory, or that may simply halt the process. And this cycle, match, select, execute, that is repeated until no rules are put in the conflict set or until the stopping condition is reached. So actually in expert system, this inference cycle is repeated. This is repeated until no rules are put in the conflict set or until stopping condition is reached. Okay. So During this process, this RITI algorithm can be used, RITI matching algorithm can be used to perform this particular process. So we are going to discuss this in this RITI matching algorithm. Understood up to this point? Any difficulty up to this? This is the background required why we are studying this particular algorithm. Any question up to this?
No, sir.
Again, I am repeating, we are discussing rule-based systems, that is expert systems. In expert systems, we have a knowledge base which is in the form of set of rules. This knowledge base, that is set of rules, has to be processed repeatedly. You will have a current state of the system. So what that inference mechanism will do, that inference mechanism will try to find out of the available n number of rules, thousands of rules are there in the actual system, how many rules are matching, or left hand side of those rules are matching with the current state of the system. Once you have identified that, call that as a conflict set. From that conflict set, you will have to select one of the rule. How to select that? Three strategies we have seen in last lecture. That is, you may select first applicable rule, or you may select, you may assign the weights, right? So different ways are there. So select by using that technique the appropriate rule. Apply that selected rule, and that will give you the action to be performed. So I think we are running out of time. Are you free? Do you have next lecture? Or shall we continue?
Yes, for next lecture.
Do we have next lecture? Okay. So actual algorithm we have to discuss, RITI algorithm, that we will discuss in the next class, and in next class we have to start our next unit also, that unit 6 I think, that unit 6 is on game playing algorithms. So thank you, good day, we will meet in the next lecture.